Hey everyone, this is Vaishali. Welcome back. And today we are going to see Salesforce contracts in Revenue Cloud. So, what's a contract? A contract is nothing but a written agreement between the two parties where they agree upon certain terms and conditions when they are agreeing to purchase some products or services. So, in Revenue Cloud, it's an important step in any code process. So let's see how the contracts are created in Revenue Cloud. Now, this is one of my quotation which I've created, and it has several quote lines which I've added basically the product my customer is purchasing. So now I am interacting with my customer and they say that they want to see the quotation. Now I have options to send them the quotation. I can generate the quotation and send it to them to view the different products, its prices, the duration, who is it billed to, shipped to, etc. And the other is, let's say I am discussing with my customer and along with them, I have come up to certain terms which both the parties agree upon. So for that, an MSA contract is created. Now, MSA is Master Service Agreement. So both of the contract can be created from the quote itself. So we have a button here on the quote called Create CLM button. When you click this button, you get the options to create the contracts. Now we have two type of contract, order form and MSA. You can have as many types as you want, depending on the business and the use cases. So when you click on order form and click next, the contract is generated for order form. Same is the process for MSA. So I have the contracts generated already. Let's see this. So on the contract, if you go, there are basic details populated like the account, the source opportunity, source code, the start date and the end date, and the status of the contract is draft because we are yet to close the quotation, send it out to customers, get it signed. So all those processes left, and that's why the status is draft. So now let's see how the document can be generated. So if I scroll down, this is my document section where I can generate the document for my customer. So now this is my order form contract. So I have the order form document, which I can generate. So if I click on this and generate document, this process takes a minute. And once you see this message, just load the screen again. Go to the Windows tab and you will see your document generated. So this is the document that gets generated. And if you see, there are details like the products which the customer has purchased, the quote number, bill to, ship to, all those details are added here along with some terms and conditions. So this is one of the document that is created on the contract. Similarly, on the other contract, which is for the MSA type, if you go to the Documents tab and generate the MSA, the process is going to be the same. The document will be different, the content for the document. So this is the MSA template that I select, and simple process, I just click Continue. So in the backend, my document already gets generated. Once I refresh, I can see the document. Here we go. The document is generated. This is the MSA document. It can contain different clauses, different terms and conditions, all that the user, does the discussion during the quotation process. All of it can be written down and can be signed by both the parties. So now there are a few more features for this contract. Um, let's suppose this is the document which I've created and I now want to lock it. So now this is locked. The changes have been locked. This check-in button is disabled. Now, if I have to make any more changes to this document, or let's say some other rep is working as well on this quotation, they can come. and they can check out this document so that they can make changes to it. Now, when you check out the document, there are certain options that you get. Whether you want to generate the document again, or whether you want to modify it, or whether you want to import some contract which you've already created into the system and then make changes to it. So we can see the second option where we can modify the contract in 365 editor. So once I do this, it will redirect me to the Microsoft Word where I can make some changes, and then I can save the document again in the system, and it can be accessed by anybody who has the access to this contract. So you see, this is redirecting me to the MS Word. Now, let's say I want to make some changes to this document. I maybe want to add a term. So I can add the term. I'm just adding test, and then I can check in. Okay, so we get an option where we can check in the document and then save it again. So in this way, we get an option here itself. It's loading, so that is why you don't see it here now. But once this document is ready, you make some changes, and from here, from the check-in button, you can simply update the document back to Salesforce. Now, let's say I've made some changes and I've come back here. And the next process is I want to submit the contract for an approval. There may be some legal approval or product team wants to review the document. So those approvals can be submitted. Once the contract is submitted for approval, okay, this is an important step that you need to check in the document before you submit for approval. So I haven't checked this document, so I got the error. So once I check in this document, now this is checked in, I will submit it for approval again. Now my contract is in approval. Let's say if there were any, if there were no approvals, it would have got auto approved. But now since I have an approval, I will have to get it approved and then I can move on to other process. So I'll just simply approve the contract here. Now my contract is updated. Now, as we do the changes here, the status on the contract also gets updated. Initially, it was draft. When we submitted for approval, it was in approval. Once it is approved, it is in negotiation. Now, next step is you can submit this document for signatures if you want to. So signature process is the same. It is going to be sent to the customer for electronic signatures via DocuSign. Once that is signed, you can then see the status here as update. Now, let's see what happens when we send it for signatures. So here we have the button. Once I refresh it, I see this button send for signature. So I simply send it for signatures. Now I have the ability to add them, add the contacts, or if I don't want to send it to any contact, I will simply send it to a user with their name and email ID added, and it will go to the person. They can sign, and then the record gets updated. So basically, these are the details that I have to update in order to send the document for signature. So this is something which I send. I will show you once what the status is once we send this for signatures. So here we have to select the document, which type of document we want, PDF or Word. So we're going to select the PDF format. And now if you see here, I've added the recipient. I've added all the message. I will add the document here, and this send button gets enabled. So now I send it. I will get an email for the signatures, And once I sign it, the status of the contract gets updated to signed. Now, since it is sent for signatures, the status got updated as awaiting signatures. And once I sign it, I will get the status updated as signed. So let me just open and sign the document in the background. And once I sign it, the status gets updated. So this is the document, DocuSign process remains the same. There are no changes in the DocuSign process. So you just have to open the document and sign it. So I am going to now open this, sign on just I'm signing it and finish. So this is now signed. DocuSign may take some time, maybe a couple of minutes. But once it gets signed, we will go back to this contract. And what we have to do is we have to update the envelope status here. So once I update the envelope status, the contract status should be signed. So you see here, the contract status gets updated to signed. So this is how Salesforce contract works in Revenue Cloud. That's it for this video. Thank you.